Hi students. Now in this class we will discuss about photo phosphorylation. So what is meant by photophosphorylation? So it is the process of utilizing light energy from photosynthesis to convert ADP to ATP. So ADP to ATP and it is the process of synthesizing energy which ATP molecule by transferring of the phosphate group into ADP molecule in the presence of light is called as photophosphorylation. So David Arnon demonstrated that isolated chloroplasts produce ATP in the presence of light, and he termed the process of ATP synthesis in chloroplast as photosynthetic phosphorylation or photophosphorylation. This photophosphorylation into two types. One is cyclic photophosphorylation and second one is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Cyclic photophosphorylation and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So first one is cyclic photophosphorylation. So cyclic photophosphorylation occurs in chloroplast illuminated with infrared rays or light. So under this condition, the wavelength of more than 680 plus, that means 700 wavelength, only photosystem 1 is activated. By means, in short, PS1 is activated. So hence this cyclic photophosphorylation is important and it provides a source of ATP and that is independent of the production of NADPH. So when these NADPH adenosine dinucleotide phosphate accumulates and the amount of ATP produced, so during the flow of electrons from water to NADP plus inadequate to drive the dark reactions of photosynthesis. So thus photophosphorylation provides a source of ATP. So when PS1 is activated, so here in chlorophyll PS1 is activated in the 700 wavelength by 1 photon. The excited electron lifted from its reaction center P700. So the electron passes through a chain of electron carriers with increasing reduction potential, and the first carrier is designed, it appears to be a chlorophyll A, and the second carrier is probably phylloquinone. So the electron finally proceeds through ferredoxin. So which contains ferrous and sulfur protein. So ferredoxin contains ferrous and sulfur protein. So instead of being passed on the NADP plus, NADP plus, and the electron returns from reduced ferredoxin to cytochrome B6 into cytochrome B6, and plastoquinone becomes reduced to plastoquinone QH2. So the protons are released into the lumen. Protons are released into the lumen. Where lumen is present, inside the chlorophyll consists discoid thylakoid are there, which is the space of thylakoid in the center portion is called as lumen. So the protons are released in the lumen. Or thylakoid membrane. So electrons are sequentially transferred to plastocyanin. So plastoquinone reduced into the plastoquinone. Phylloquinone turns into reduced into phylloquinone. It is called as Q-pool or quinone cycle. So when electrons are sequentially transferred to from this quinone pool transfer into plastocyanin. Plastocyanin. So then electrons, so the photooxidized P700 accepts the electrons from reduced plastocyanin. So the electron lost by P700 is cycled back to 700, P700, and causing the accumulation of protons inside the thylakoids. So it results in setting up of proton gradient and formation of ATP. So the formation of ATP by this cyclic electron transport is called cyclic photophosphorylation. So during cyclic photophosphorylation, ATP is produced but no oxygen is released and NADP is not reduced. So this is called as photophosphorylation. And then next one is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Here Hill and Bendall, Hill and Bendall proposed the scheme of photosynthetic electron transport. So, but it involves both photosystem 1 and 2 acting in series connected by electron transport mediators. Both PS1 and 2 acting in series connected by electron transport mediators, and so drawing this scheme on a redox scale gives rise to the letter Z. Hence the scheme is often known as the Z scheme. So the process begins with the absorption of light energy. So by light harvesting complex. By light harvesting complex, it is transferred to P700 by resonance transfer. So the light excited P700 excels the electron, and the electron passes through a chain of intermediate electron carriers to a soluble ferredoxin present in the stroma, and the first carrier appears by a chlorophyll A monomer, whereas the second carrier is probably phylloquinone. So the electron finally proceeds through the 3 membrane bound ferredoxin, which contains ferrous sulfur protein and reaches soluble ferredoxin, and that is located in the stroma. So reduced ferredoxin in turn reduces NADP plus. For reduction of one molecule of NADP, 2 electrons are required, and these 2 electrons provided by ferredoxin one at a time. The reduction is catalyzed by FAD containing ferredoxin NADP reductase enzyme. But again, the enzyme ferredoxin NADP reductase is apparently involved in matching the one electron chemistry of ferredoxin in the 2 electron chemistry of NADP. So since the expelled electron ends up in the reducing NADP, it results electron deficiency in P700. So this deficiency is filled by the electrons derived from photosynthesis 2 by means of electron transport chain. So hence P700 accepts the lost electron directly from the plastocyanin. So PS2 energy trapped by light harvesting complex is transferred P680 by resonance transfer. The excited single electron P680 is transferred to pheophytin. Pheophytin. So the electron deficient P680 obtains electrons from photooxidation of water. So electrons are removed from water. Electrons are removed from water. So here water molecules by manganese containing oxygen evolving complex. Oxygen evolving complex. So it is located along the inner side of the thylakoid membrane. So the mechanism of water oxidation is not clear and it results in the formation of O2 and 4H plus. So the oxygen evolving cycle through a series of oxidation states while removing protons, the electron from the water molecules and finally release oxygen into the inner thylakoid space. Inner thylakoid space. So as oxygen is small neutral molecule, it is readily diffuses out across the thylakoid into stroma of chloroplast. So but the proton carriers a charge, so it does not readily move out of the thylakoid channel. Why? Because the thylakoid membrane acts as permeable membrane. So during the oxidation of water, electrons move energetically downwards or down from water to an unknown substance jet. So it releases electrons from the manganese protein water splitting complex to the reaction center P680. So this oxidation of water requires absorption of two protons, absorption of two protons or photons by PS2. Two consecutive excitations of P680 will lead to loss of one electron at a time. And it quinone cycle takes place. So oxidizer and reduction forms quinone run this cycle. So these forms are plastoquinone, fully oxidized form, quinone, semiquinone, so PQ, plastoquinone, fully oxidized form, quinone, semiquinone or partially reduced form, and PQH2, so they are turned into like this. So PQH2 or QH2, plastoquinol, fully reduced form, hence this is called as Q cycle. So it is SQ or plastoquinone is first reduced to plastoquinol. Plastoquinone reduced into plastoquinol by accepting one electron from PS2 and two photons from the stroma. And PQH2 by means plastoquinol is again reoxidized to semiquinone or plastoquinone, and by donating electron to ferrous and rich by the cytochrome Bf complex. So the same time, two protons released into the lumen of thylakoid, but four protons are transferred for every two electrons passing from PS2 to cytochrome Bf complex, by means Q cycle, works as a coupling unit between pheophytin and cytochrome Bf complex. So the cyclic changes in Q pool are responsible for transport of protons from the stroma to the inside of the thylakoid membrane or lumen, and cytochrome F delivers electrons to plastocyanin, which occurs on the inner side of the thylakoid membrane. So plastocyanin shuttles picking electron from cytochrome Ba6F complex and delivers to P700. So during non-cyclic electron transport, NADPH formed, oxygen is evolved, NADPH is formed, protons from oxygen evolving step and from Q cycle stop are released into the thylakoid channel. So the accumulation of protons inside the thylakoid lumen together with the transfer of electrons outrages the electrical potential inside with respect to the outside. So it also increases the internal concentration of protons, so thus generating a proton gradient which derives the formation of ATP. So for ATP A's details in the reference topic of respiration in later. So in the session I will give you some explanation about photophosphorylation involving chemiosmosis or a coupling factor. So generally photophosphorylation occurs in chloroplast because light energy derived it. So protons are released into the thylakoid channel. Protons are released into the thylakoid channel in the chloroplast. So from this oxidation of water component of PS2 and second one is plastoquinone pool, and when it is oxidized and reductized and cyclic electron flow from P700 to cytochrome B6F complex. So when plastoquinone is oxidized, so these oxidations results in accumulation of protons in the thylakoid sac. In the thylakoid sac, and which may be 1,000 times as great as in the stroma. So the thylakoid sac has a pH in acidic in nature, maybe 5, while the stroma is 8, By means alkaline nature, thus generating a strong proton diffuse gradient towards the stroma. So, but thylakoids are impermeable to protons. So, and other ions except when transported by cytochrome F to ATP synthase. So, the pH gradient across the membrane provides a powerful electrochemical gradient in chloroplast for driving photophosphorylation. So, for this, by Peter Mitchell. So, he is the scientist. Peter Mitchell proposed this concept, hence it is called as chemi-osmotic hypothesis. Chemi-osmotic hypothesis in 1961. So, formation of ATP in chloroplast, mitochondria and bacteria also. Chloroplast, mitochondria and bacteria also in the same way. So, but his hypothesis was not accepted for many years. This theory is now accepted due to experimental evidences provided by Andrew Jogendorf. Andrew Jogendorf. So he showed that chloroplasts would synthesize ATP when pH gradient is imposed across the thylakoid membrane. So Mitchell was awarded Nobel Prize in 1978. So the thylakoid membrane at unstacked regions in contact with the stroma contain coupling factor complex or ATP synthase or ATP ase. So I show you picture of mitochondria only for easy understanding for you. So for the in respiration classes I will explain briefly in this topic. Just I want to show to you. You have to imagine this one. So ATP synthase has two components here. A protein factor here CF1 and CF0. CF1 and CF0 that occurs on the stroma or stomatal side of the thylakoid, which can bind ADP plus phosphate. So another protein factor occurring in the thylakoid membrane through which protons can pass from the CF0 into CF1. So when protons, three protons are released from the thylakoid membrane into outside, one ATP energy are produced from the ATPase enzyme. So thus through photophosphorylation ATP is released and NADPH is released and then oxygen are released from this concept. So by this product or this process ATP, NADPH are used in the light independent process. So it also termed the carbon fixation cycle or Kelvin cycle. So this cycle uses NADP and ATP to convert carbon dioxide into simple sugars. Hence this process is called as Kelvin cycle or carbon fixation cycle. Hence it is also called as dark reaction cycle. So this is the process of photophosphorylation and releases of ATP by using of light or light energy. So here in mitochondria consists of mitochondrial membranes. Inside the mitochondria membrane consists of curved membrane part is called as matrix. It is called as cristae. So outer membrane, inner membrane. So here respiration is carried out in the or process are done in the inner membrane or space of the mitochondrial membrane. It is another structure. So same, it consists of number of tubule-like structures. It consists two parts, CF0 and CF1, which is the maintaining of ATPase enzyme for releasing of ATP from mitochondrial membrane into matrix. At the same time, in chloroplast consists of same structure to releasing of ATP. సో ఇలాగా కాంతిని వినియోగించుకొని మొక్కలు ఎలాగా ఆక్సిజన్ రిలీజ్ చేస్తూ ఏటీపీని ఎలా రిలీజ్ చేస్తాయని చెప్పే దాంట్లో సైక్లిక్ ఫోటోఫాస్ఫారిలేషన్, నాన్ సైక్లిక్ ఫోటోఫాస్ఫారిలేషన్ అనే రెండు చక్రీయ రవాణాలు అనేవి జరుగుతాయని చెప్పుకున్నాము. అందులో మొదటిది సైక్లిక్ ఫోటోఫాస్ఫారిలేషన్ లేదా చక్రీయ రవాణా, నాన్ సైక్లిక్ ఫోటోఫాస్ఫారిలేషన్ లేదా అచక్రీయ రవాణా అంటాము. చక్రీయ రవాణా అంటే ఒక క్రమ పద్ధతిలో ఎలక్ట్రాన్లు అనేటివి రిలీజ్ అవుతూ పిరిడాక్సిన్ నుంచి FeS ప్రోటీన్ కి, ఆ తర్వాత NADP రిలీజెస్ కి, ఈ ప్లాస్టోకినోన్ యొక్క ఆక్సిడైజ్ రిడక్షన్ చర్యల ద్వారా ప్లాస్టోసైనిన్ కి ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ జరిగేటప్పుడు ఈ ప్రోటాన్లు అనేటివి థైలకాయిడ్ లూమెన్ లోకి రిలీజ్ అవుతాయని చెప్పుకున్నాము. అట్లాగే హిల్ అండ్ బెండాల్ అనే సైంటిస్ట్ ఈ PS1 అండ్ PS2 రియాక్షన్స్ గురించి చెప్పారనమాట. బోత్ PS1 అండ్ PS2 రియాక్షన్స్ అనే ఒకేసారి జరిగేటటువంటి ప్రాసెస్ ని మనం ఏమంటున్నామంటే నాన్ సైక్లిక్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటున్నాము. ఇవంతా ఎలా ఉంటాయంటే ఒక జిగ్జాగ్ గా ఉంటాయి. ఇది ఒక జెడ్ స్కీమ్ నమూనా అని చెప్పవచ్చు అనమాట. ఎలా అంటే సో మొదటిగా PE680 వేవ్ లెంత్ ఉన్నటువంటి స్ఫుట సిస్టమ్ అనేది రియాక్ట్ అయ్యి ఇక్కడ ఆక్సిజన్ నిర్గమ సంక్లిష్టం ద్వారా ఆక్సిజన్ రిలీజన్ కి మ్యాంగనీస్ ప్రోటీన్ ద్వారా, ఆ తర్వాత పియోఫైటిన్ నుంచి ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ప్లాస్టోకినోన్ కి, తర్వాత సైటోక్రోమ్ B6 కాంప్లెక్స్ కి, ఆ తర్వాత ప్లాస్టోసైనిన్ కి క్యారీ చేయబడతాయని, ఆ తర్వాత ప్లాస్టోసైనిన్ నుంచి P700 సేమ్ ఫోటో సిస్టమ్ చక్రీయ రవాణాలో ఎలా ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ జరుగుతుందో అలాంటి ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ జరిగి ఫస్ట్ ఫెరిడాక్సిన్ అనేది రియాక్ట్ అయ్యి ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ని రిసీవ్ చేసుకొని ఫెర్రస్ సల్ఫర్ ప్రోటీన్ ని కలిగి ఉండి ఇక్కడ మ్యాంగనీస్ ప్రోటీన్ అని చెప్పుకున్నాం. అక్కడ నుంచి NADP రిలీజెస్ జరిగి ఆ తర్వాత NADPH ఫార్మేషన్ జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. సో చక్రీయ రవాణాలో NADPH ఏర్పడదు, కానీ అచక్రీయ రవాణాలో NADPH ఏర్పడుతుంది. రెండు చోట్ల ATP రిలీజ్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. ఇక్కడ ఆక్సిజన్ నిర్గమ సంక్లిష్టం ద్వారా ATP రిలీజ్ జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. ఇక్కడ NADPH, ఈ ATP ప్లస్ ఈ ఆక్సిజన్, ఈ మూడు ఏం జరుగుతాయంటే తర్వాత ఈ క్లోరోప్లాస్ట్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి స్ట్రోమాలోకి ప్రవేశించినప్పుడు అక్కడ ఆక్సిజన్ కార్బన్ డైఆక్సైడ్ అది ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ అయ్యి కార్బన్ ఫిక్సేషన్ జరుగుతుంది. ఆ కార్బన్ ఫిక్సేషన్ జరిగి అక్కడ ఫర్దర్ షుగర్స్ ప్రొడక్షన్ కి హెల్ప్ చేస్తాయన్నమాట. ఆ మొత్తం సైకిల్ ని ఏమైనా పిలుస్తామంటే కెల్విన్ సైకిల్ లేదా కర్బన స్థానీకరణ లేదా కర్బన స్థాయీకరణ అని కూడా చెప్పవచ్చు అనమాట.